All right, so if you're one of those clever people that knew about power chords, the open ones and the movable ones, which are the kind of regular power chords, and you've just come to this section to learn the secrets, let's have a look at what these professional players are doing when they play elsewhere on the guitar neck. So what was I doing there? Well, I was just taking these movable shapes that we know. So far we're taking simple power shapes, power chord shapes, right? So I was going G, D, G, D, C, T, and then a C sliding up to D. All right, so that was kind of the basic idea. Now I'm going to get to some more interesting rhythms in the next section. So what am I doing here when I'm doing this? Well, I'm adding some rhythm and we'll talk about that in the next section. But what you can do is, if you look at power chords, this is where they start to get cool, and this is the secret bit. It's not really a secret, as I say. It's just a little thing you can do. But this is where your notes and your theory really come into it, and you can start having some fun with this. So here is a G power chord. What are the notes in the G power chord? Well, they are a G note. So that's on the low E, G note. Okay, and now this note, what is this one? This is a D. We know that because we remembered our dots. So G and D. Now normally, when you play a power chord, you've got the name of the power chord on the top here. Now what about if you did the reverse? What if you put the name of the power chord, in this case a G, on the bottom, and you put the D on the top? So we've only got two notes, a G and a D, all right, to make this power chord. What if you reverse the note? So let's have a look at that. All right, so we need to find the last note first. So we know where that is, there's the D. So that's going to be first this time. Now here's where you really need to start to learn your notes on the guitar, because so far we've learned this, haven't we? We've done G, A, B, all right, C, D, E. That's great. Now we need a G note. So how are we going to find that? Well, I'm going to go to the D string. Right, now if I count up on the D, I've got a D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G. That's where it really helps to know all these chromatic notes. There's a G there. So there's a D on the top and there's a G on the bottom. If I play those together, you get this kind of like a, what would you say, ZZ Top sound, that. So instead of having this is also a G chord. Played like that. Another way you could play it, if you think about it, if you remember your notes, G, A, B, right, if I go up one more, that's a C, C sharp, and then a D, there's a D, and below it is a G, so on the 10th fret of the A, so you got, so there's G, power chord, standard, bog standard. Here is what they call an inversion, D and G, so D is on the top, as I say, and there's the third one. So that's all the possible combinations really with those, which is really good. Unless you want to start up going up higher, you know, if I played this D here and a G here, you could have a higher power chord shape, but we'll get into that in another section. So far we've got G, G, or G here. Now what was I doing here? Well, you know, this is a G note on the 5th fret of the D. That's an A note. So this is a little riff idea. So if I was playing that low down, it would be. Now if I'm playing that, it sounds a bit kind of muddy, doesn't it? So because I've reversed the chord now, I've got this. And that's sounding a bit cooler, because if I do it there, that's possible, but I think that one sounds a bit better. All right, Right, so there we go. Now, what was I doing here? Because that is a bit weird. I hope you can see that that's a G note here. But what is this other note, and why am I playing this? This is the second fret on the A. Why am I playing that note? Well, that is a B note. Now, hang on a minute, you're thinking, this is a G chord. There's only two notes in a power chord. There's a G and this note here, which is a D. That is true, but if you make a major chord, and this is a bit of chord theory for you, to make a major chord, you play the major scale, all right, and you take the first note, the third note, which is a B, so you've got a G, a B, and the fifth note is a D. They're the three notes that make a major chord. So what you could add to a power chord is start being a bit more creative. Use some of the notes from the scale. Now you've got three notes that you can play with. You've got a G, a B, and a D. So when I did this, I'm doing an interesting, it's a G chord, it's just a G chord. But this time there's the G on the bottom again, but this time on the top is not the D, it's the B. So you get this. That's a nice kind of more modern rock sound, all right? So instead of this chord we started with, now we've got this choice, we've got this choice, or we've got this choice. All right? And you can start mucking about with these as well if you think, you know, B and a G, where else could you play that? Think about that, you know. So here we go. What I was doing with this, I was doing this first inversion. And then up to C to D. So the C was normal. Up to the D, so. So I hope you can see that just by learning that tiny little bit of theory we did before, we can start having a bit more fun with it now, start changing things around.